Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about bronzers and the best bronzers for pale skin. So my skin looks a little bit darker than usual because I've just come back from holiday, but I'm still pretty pale. I've got sort of yellow to neutral undertones, not too much pink undertones. Actually, maybe it's just neutral undertones. It varies from brand to brand depending on what I'm buying, whether it's concealer, foundation, etc, etc. But when it comes to bronzer, I feel like so many bronzers just look... they're either way too pigmented, or they just look orange and they don't complement my skin tone. So I thought it would be interesting to share with you my favourite bronzers that I have found that are vegan and cruelty free, and yeah, hopefully it helps you if you are also pale. For reference, I think I'm an NW 15 or 20 in MAC, if that means anything to anyone anymore. Obviously I have never bought a MAC foundation actually, but I remember getting colour matched ages ago, so if that helps you for reference, then there we go. But anyway, I'm going to start off with my favourite bronzer. I prefer pressed bronzers. These are all powdered bronzers as well. I'm not a huge fan of cream bronzers just because I feel like they don't really last on my skin very long. I'm tempted to try the Milk Makeup like matte bronzer stick, but again, I just prefer pressed bronzers. It's just what I like. This compact here is the Lolo pressed bronzer in the shade Miami Beach. They do, I think, maybe 3 shades of this bronzer, and this is the lightest shade. They do a slightly cooler, also light one, but yeah, this is the lightest kind of bronzing shade, and it's very golden but doesn't look orange at all. It's also got a slightly sort of satin finish to it, like it's not completely matte, it hasn't got any shimmer in it. It's just a very nice natural looking bronzer. It lasts really well on my skin. I'll pop some on now because I haven't actually got bronzer on. I've got blush on but not bronzer, so I'll just demo it. It never looks muddy, it never looks too orange. It's buildable, but it's not too pigmented when you first swipe it on, but it still shows up, you know, because some lighter bronzers, they just literally don't show up on the skin, so you have to really work with it, whereas this one's minimal effort in terms of you don't have to like pack it on, but it's very hard to go overboard with it. So this is my top pick, and I think it's around £12, so pretty good. The only thing I would say about this is it's quite a soft powder, like it's very blendable, looks really natural, but the actual compact, I would say just be careful with it. Don't like throw it around, don't chuck your makeup bag around. Not that you would do that anyway, but you know, I sound like a parent, but it's just because I had one of these and it smashed, and I wasn't like too rough with it, but it did smash. So yeah, beware, but this is my #1 pick. And one of the more affordable options, a slightly less affordable option, which is really nice, is the Ambient lighting bronzers. These are by Hourglass. So Hourglass have got a parent company, but they are cruelty free and they've got loads of vegan options. So you may have heard of the powders. They do ambient lighting powders, and they do blushes and bronzers as well, and they're very similar. Oh, and highlights now as well. They've really expanded the range, but this shade Nude Bronze Light is really good if you are really pale. Like, this does take a little bit of building. I would say if you are literally any deeper than me, then I don't know if this would work for you, because it is super subtle. Obviously I'll show you all of these swatched side by side. This is a slightly cooler bronzer. It's not quite as warm and golden as the Miami Beach bronzer, and it does have a slight sheen to it, kind of like a natural sheen, but I don't think it has glitter particles in, whereas the ambient lighting powders do have really small shimmers. But yeah, this is a really nice option as well. Doesn't look orangey at all, never looks cakey, and lasts pretty well on the skin. But also in that same breath, you could just take the ambient lighting powders and take the deeper shade to your natural skin colour. I'm not using them at the moment, but in terms of like face powders, I either use diffused light or ethereal light. So ethereal light is a really light sort of white shade, and diffused is a bit more yellow toned, so I can get away with using either of those to kind of set my face. But this one in dim light, I used to use this all the time to contour, or just, it's not even a contour, it's ever so slightly darker than my skin colour, but it looks like the same colour as my skin in here, but it does kind of act like a very subtle contour. So if you are super fair, then I do recommend maybe swatching one of these in store and seeing if it would work for you as, not even a contour, because it is a face powder, but it just gives a slight little bit of shadow, a tiny little bit of warmth. You could do that with any of your powders. Like if you've got a powder that you really like, and the butter bronzer, I forgot about that. Where is that? Okay, I do really like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer as well. The lightest shade you can get like a lighter bronze. But as I was saying, if you've got a face powder that you really like, you could just take a slightly deeper version of that and use it as a bronzer. And then last but not least, I really like the Body Shop Honey Bronzer. I haven't used this in ages because I don't really use the Body Shop anymore. This is the shade 01. This is a completely matte powder, and I know lots of people that love this as well. It's a very soft powder and it looks really natural on the skin. And I do a couple of shades of this actually. My friend Serena's got medium to deep skin depending on whether she's tanned, and she uses this, not in this shade, but she uses this product and really likes it. And this one's like middle of the range. I think you can get Body Shop usually like 40% off online, so maybe if you're after this, hold out until they've got a sale online and pick it up because you can get it a lot cheaper. And then last but not least, this is not a bronzer, but I thought I would just chuck this in because sometimes I just use it kind of as a contour and a bronzer, but this is the Lolo Sculpt and Glow palette. I love Lolo powder products. They're just so smooth and blendable, and they're slightly more natural, and they're Logical Harmony certified. So in fact all these brands, oh no, Body Shop I don't think is Logical Harmony certified, but Hourglass is. In fact, is the Body Shop? I don't know. Not sure. I'll double check. I'll leave a link to my blog where I'll put a picture of the swatches if you want to have a look at that and like up close have a little inspection. Then feel free to. I always like to go in depth when I'm looking at reviews to buy a product, so hopefully that helps you out. And yeah, if you've got any bronzers to recommend that are good for pale skin, please do let me know, and maybe like and comment and subscribe if you would like to, and hopefully I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!